afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joshua Santos, and I am here. A pleasure to be here with Justice Eagan. He is an L4 leader within MLSP, My Lead System Pro, which is the largest attraction marketing system for network marketers out there in the home-based business industry. And he's a rock star in his MLM, really making it happen in his MLM. If you haven't heard of him, I highly suggest you look him up. He's the creator of Master Marketers University and co-host of what is now currently going on, the 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge. So, Justice, how are you, man?
I'm great. I'm great. Great to be here. Glad you reached out to me. Really excited to chat it up today and see if we can give some people even a couple pieces of information that'll help them build their business.
Absolutely. Awesome. That's great. So I just wanted to start with, your story, where you came from. I read about it on the About Me section. Powerful story. And, it kind of reminded me of a couple of my friends, starting their businesses and, where they were in the restaurant industry as well. But I wanted you to tell your own story. Nobody can tell it better than yourself. So, yeah, just give us a shout and just let us know what's going on with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I spent most of my time in the hospitality industry from the time I was about 17 years old. Went off to school, stayed in it, really loved it. But I was attached more to the lifestyle than I was really the industry. I think I loved, the late nights, the social aspect of it. I mean, it was a lot of fun for a long time. But, something hit me. I was living up in Rhode Island. I turned 25 years old. I recognized that, I looked around and didn't really like where my life was at. So I knew I had to get busy. Moved back down to New Jersey, which is where I grew up, and I took a management job at a restaurant on a country club and just really put my head down and got to work. I worked harder than I've ever worked in my life. I mean, 80 plus hour weeks, first one in, last one out, every day, no days off, every holiday. It was just nonstop. And I had the pressure of, as a young guy, my boss got fired. I had to take his position, and it was just loads and loads of pressure. But I thought I was doing everything right. I worked my butt off. I parlayed it into multiple raises, a new job opportunity, bought my first house, saved for retirement, the whole nine. I mean, I doubled my salary in 4 years just by getting busy, like being the hardest worker in the room. And then one day, things changed. And I lost a job for the first time in my life. And I was really shattered. So, I didn't really feel like I had value to bring to the restaurant industry. My confidence was rattled. But I also found myself really broke after 4 months of being unemployed. And I stopped and I reflected on all that work, right? Like going in on my day off, working like the shifts that just felt like they went forever, right? All that stress, everything, building someone else's restaurant. And, I had this shift, something switched. I realized I'm broke. I don't have anything to show for any of this. What's the deal? So, I needed to get back to work. I mustered up the energy to get a job as a waiter and I was back at square one, right? And I was not making enough money to pay the bills. But I recognized that I liked the fact that I didn't have that restaurant's responsibility on my shoulders. I could leave it when I walked out the door. I liked the fact that if I needed a Saturday off, I could take a Saturday off. I kind of had this little bit of flexibility. And, I knew I didn't want to go back to management. I just didn't know what I was going to do next. And the chef at that restaurant, handed me a business card, introduced me to network marketing. And, I tossed and turned. I was the perfect prospect for it. I dove in, only to realize that I just wasn't the person I needed to be to succeed. I was still kind of that really shattered, non-confident person that had lost his job, was in debt. I felt like people would think I was desperate because I felt desperate. So I couldn't go out there and show that. What value did I have? What did I have to show them? Didn't matter how great I thought this company was. They're going to look at me and say, hey, he's just desperate because he's waiting tables, he's not making the money he used to, etc. So, I knocked it around for a while. I made about $98 in commissions in my first 6 months. I finally decided, I had a back injury that was keeping me out of work and the bills were piling up real fast. I finally decided I was going to look at MLSP, right? I dove in. The training blew my mind. I loved it. I mean, all of a sudden, I was like, I can make this happen. And my phone rang, and I got offered what I tell people was really kind of my dream job at the time. Something I've been interviewing for a long time. Interviewed for many months actually with this gentleman, and he was going to put me back at his salary, would have solved all my problems well before, it was the same salary I was making before the economy fell apart. And I had to think about it, and I called that guy back, and I said, you know what, Tom? I said, I'm not the same guy you interviewed. You're going to need to offer that job to someone else. And that day I made a decision. And I stress it with everybody because most people don't make that kind of decision. Even though I did go back to waiting tables, I started this business part time. I made a career change that day, and it takes that kind of commitment to really make it happen. And so I turned down that job. It was really scary. I continued to go into debt. I continued to struggle. But when you do something like that, you really can't. Failure's not an option at that point. Do you know what I mean? So, that's where it started for me. And I've kept my head down and stayed consistent enough, and been very, very fortunate to have broken through and found success in this industry. And, I'm really blessed to be able to share my story with people and help them in any way I can, whether it's just them, hearing my story, or whether it's information I can give to them. But I can always tell people, you can't tell me how broke you are because I was that broke. You can't tell me how hurt you are because I was that hurt. I couldn't walk. Can't tell me how much you hate your job because I hated my job. Or how unconfident you were, or how unproductive you are. Because I was all those things. If you want it, you can get out there and get it. And if you need to scrape together the dollars, you can do it. Because I shut my TV off. I always tell people I took cold showers. I mean, my hot water heater broke down, and it was like, okay, what? Not pay for MLSP or the tool I needed, or pay $200 or $300 for the plumber to come out. Well, the plumber wasn't coming out. That's just the way it was going to work, And so, it's exciting because this industry can change people's lives. It changed mine, and we, Josh, have the pleasure of sharing it with people and have the opportunity to change theirs.
Awesome, absolutely. That's crazy. I remember when I was in Puerto Rico, that was the regular thing. You just took a cold shower and that was it. Because once you got out of the shower, you're sweating. So
Yep.
back over there, I could definitely relate to that. Just taking a cold shower. And over there in New York, you're in New York, right?
I'm in New Jersey, yeah.
Jersey, yeah. So I can imagine cold nights for you.
Forget it. It was like, I'll tell you, I was never so productive. I mean, I was in and out, woke me right up, got right to work,
Yeah, tried to work up the sweat real quick. Yeah, man. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you the first question. You said, you were in MLSP, you found MLSP, you were thankful, you broke through, and you had some challenges. I'm sure you have. So, what was your biggest challenge when you first started online?
First of all, I really didn't have any mentorship. But that's not somebody else's fault. It's really my fault. I didn't seek it. I mean, you know, I stayed in my own little bubble, and I just tried to learn it all through the videos, and I did. So you can do it. Okay. So if not having mentorship, if somebody out there saying, "Oh man, my upline doesn't call me," or "My upline quit," it really doesn't matter. You can totally make it happen. It has nothing to do with it. But my biggest challenge, which was a mistake, was that I didn't participate in money making activities. I took on all the technical stuff, tried to make everything perfect, kept myself busy, did all that passive marketing stuff, and B, I really never reached out and tapped into the resources that are within the community. I mean, I'm sure, Josh, you've been in the community for a while. You recognize this. I mean, everybody's really just a Facebook message away, and I just didn't look at it that way. I didn't approach it with the right mindset. I didn't use the community to its fullest. I used it just for training, and for that reason, I took the long road. What can you do?
All right.
I really wouldn't change it.
Yeah, no, look where you are now. So, yeah, no, that's definitely a different way to go. But you absolutely proved that you don't have to always be speaking to your upline. You don't always need to, claim. You could. This is the thing. Like, people are entrepreneurs, and when you understand entrepreneurship, there's a lot that you got to figure out on your own. So when your business scales, right? And when you're someone like a Mike Dillard or like a Tim Irwin or all these big guys out there, they don't always call the next person and say, hey, can you come figure this thing out for me, or can you? I need some support on this like now. And if you don't contact me, I'm gonna quit. Like they don't do
You
that.
don't have those options. Yeah.
Exactly. They've developed a huge backbone in this industry. If entrepreneurship was easy, everyone could do it. And that's the beauty of it. This is why we get to get paid the way we get to get paid and do the things we get to do. Because it's completely different. You got to really step out of the box. Not always kind of think on people. So definitely commendable for doing that and taking a long way. Long way, but still successful. Hey, so another question is what was your first aha moment when you started either early on in your business or later on in your business? What was your first aha moment when you started your business?
Well, that's a good question. I want to say one of my big aha moments was getting to my first event. Live the Dream event, and just connecting with everybody, recognizing how real it was. I was getting results at the time. I was just starting to break through. So it was really it all became very real. But obviously there's those aha moments well before then. I talked about turning down that job. I mean that was a moment where I said, okay, now here you are, like you just made a life choice,
Yeah.
no turning back. Those are big moments like that. Obviously, the first time I'll never forget the first time I woke up and had commissions in my inbox. Like substantial commissions. I think I woke up one night and I made like $350 while I was sleeping. And this was early on. It was like a big hit, right? Like something. I want to say maybe I had only gotten one check so far for like 20, $30, or maybe I hadn't even gotten a check yet. I had some commissions in different places, but that first time waking up was like boom. I got paid while I was sleeping, and I understood leverage. I understood passive income. And I mean, and after that, my mom understood it too, because I picked up that phone so fast. I was like, you never believe what happened.
Oh man, that's awesome! Wow. Yeah. When I first got my first commission, my first ever commission was like $7, and then when I first started in MLSP, it was 60 cents. And I was
Yep.
like, oh, it works, okay. So,
Yep.
and back in the, I would say that this commission was mine, but they asked for a return in magnetic sponsoring. I'm like, oh, okay. So this was back in 2010 or something like that. I was super happy, and then they asked for a return. I'm like, all right, whatever. So,
Yep.
yeah. But anyway, getting your first commission definitely is that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, just those moments that make it real, because sometimes you get into this and you plug away. This is not overnight stuff. I don't care what the marketing message out there says. I don't care who tells you about these crazy income claims. They exist. There's big money to be made in this industry, and some people make it fast, but you're never getting the whole story. Okay, people struggle. People have their struggles often before they find success. And you don't know what prepared them for that kind of success. So, those little instances, that first commission, the first time you meet somebody that seemed larger than life on the internet, but is a very real person that you get to just kind of have a beer with. The first time these things happen, they just continue to make it real, and they keep you going. And at the beginning, the thing people don't do, which I wish they do more, is just take a look around and use common sense. Let other people's stories make it real for you until you get to experience something yourself. Because listen, look around. This is real. It's very doable. It's not a people say, well, I want to see if this works for me, or if I want to see if this works, or I want to try this out. It's like nobody. Believe me, if you're watching this, you are not the what's the word I'm looking for? You're not the case study here, okay? You are not the one to determine whether what can be done works or doesn't work, or whether money can be made. You need to look around. You get to participate in it at whatever higher level you like to participate in it. So, use us to make it real for you now, and then those little aha moments will make it very real, and keep that fire lit.
Absolutely. Makes total sense. Yeah. So, yeah, just real quick before we get into the next question, I remember where a friend of mine told me, he's like, when you're online and you're looking around for an opportunity, whether you're in one or not, you look around and you see a leader or a couple leaders, and all you see is the screenshots of how many leads they got that day, or the income claims, or the pictures of income. Some don't, but there's a lot of them who are successful, and you see them on webinars, and you think all of a sudden that they're an overnight success until you actually plug into their blog or their about me section, like I did yours, and getting to know these people, and you really see their struggle. Part of the reason why I'm doing all these interviews, so people can really realize that, hey, this was a struggle, and they're here because they decided to get up and make things happen. And it's not an overnight success thing. It never is.
Yep.
From the David Woods, the crazy David Woods, you name them, they all struggled crazy. They made that decision that enough was enough. So, question number three, what was your biggest breakthrough in your business, for whether it's MLSP, your primary, whatever you're involved in? What was your biggest breakthrough?
Well, that hasn't come yet. I mean, for me, I try and tell people I'm still a beginner when you really boil it down. A couple years under the belt here, I've gotten good at a few things. There's so many things I want to get good at. There's things I want to get great at. The biggest breakthroughs are still to come. I mean, obviously, rank advancements and things like that are great, but I really don't believe I've had my big breakthrough yet. I really don't. I've had some good moments. When I launched Master Marketers University, it was really well received. I think I put 8 people into my primary in a single night, and then several others to follow throughout the week. Obviously, rank advancements through MLSP have been fantastic. Being able to, I want to say being able, probably so far, the biggest thing is being able to hold the 100-day challenge. That's been huge, and it really, I knew that it would be great. I knew people would be well received, but it's opened my eyes to what's possible because of the impact I've been able to have on Adam and all of you guys who've participated, just through support and community and all those things, have been able to have on each other and people, people's lives. Some of the people that participated, and so I think the biggest breakthrough so far has probably been having that be as much of a success as it has, and knowing that we can carry that into the future, and just keep making it better.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. You guys have done an awesome job. First time around to this time around, and the challenge. You guys have been the leaders that a lot of people are looking for, and and pushed people to challenge themselves. And that was a big thing. Find the challenge within the challenge. And I posted something about, maybe I think it was yesterday. It was a video I did in 2010. And when you see that video and the videos I'm doing right now, I would have never ever done this in 2010. Never. And you'll see, if you go scroll down, you'll see how nervous I was. It's so funny. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I completely transformed from that time to now. And it just reflects that, if you're around the community that, MLSP has to offer, or wherever it is your MLM is, your business, if you're around the community, the people, and you consistently push forward and try to get uncomfortable, which is why the challenge is, here in place for us, we've got to push out of our comfort zone, then you will make some massive changes. What would be your best advice, right? Your best, all these people out here, new entrepreneurs just getting their feet wet. What would be your best advice for those looking to get some results in their home-based business industry, or a company like MLSP or anything like that?
First of all, don't quit. If you really want this, you just can't quit. Commit to growth, commit to doing the things that move your business forward. Even if you hit a down period, or you struggle, or you fall off for a little while, pick yourself back up and keep moving forward. But my biggest piece of advice would be to identify, first of all, how you want to build your business. Okay, what can you be passionate about? Do you want to do the offline stuff, the online stuff? Do you want to market with Facebook or YouTube, or what's your specialty going to be? On No Excuses, Diane Hockman said something really profound on stage. She said, I'm the go-to person for blank. What are you the go-to person for? What do you want to be the go-to person for? And so you have to identify that. You have to recognize where you want to take things. If you don't know where you're going or where you want to go, you can't get there. So, I would say that my biggest advice would be to have that conversation with yourself, to identify what you could see yourself doing, what you could be passionate about for 60, 90, 120 days and well beyond. Then connect with the people who do that successfully and do exactly what they do. Not some of what they do, not what they do with your twist. Not, too often I'll find people that say, yeah, I'm blogging. And that'll be what they do. And I'll say, well, do you do X, Y, and Z? They go, well, no, I don't do that because I'm not comfortable writing like that, or I don't like the way that sounds, or I don't do that because it cost a few bucks, or I don't do that because, well, then you're not doing what successful bloggers do. And so your expectation that you're going to be successful, there's a disconnect there. You can't do it halfway. You can't pick and choose and selectively choose the things that you model when it comes to, watching a successful person and trying to be successful with something. If you want to be a YouTube marketer, well, you can't leave out pieces of the puzzle. It's just not the way it works. Might you stumble upon a new way to do it, or might you stumble your way to success or get there eventually? Absolutely. But you have to take, if you're going to have expectations to get the results that person A got or gets, then you're going to have to do what person A does, to get there. And so, that's all there is to it. I mean, make a decision as to what you want to do, how you want to do it. I mean, I'm not a believer that there's certain things you have to do. I mean, I think you do have to pick up the phone. There are people who can do it without, and if you're intent on finding a way to build a business without, so be it. I wouldn't call it a network marketing business. But that's okay. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe a lot of people get into this, or a lot of people get into this and they become internet marketers. Okay, that's fine. Decide what you want to do, find the person who's best at it and do what they do. And do it so consistently, that make yourself tired of it. Like do it until you can't do it anymore.
Absolutely. So last but not least, that was very, very powerful as far as advice, guys. I mean, it says it all there. I mean, if you're putting your mind to something and you really want to model the leaders out here, we say it all the time. Make sure that you're picking whatever strategy that you want to do and just focus on it and just attack it like a monster. Do not stop, because there's so many people who just don't realize that the success is right around the corner. And when they quit and they find out, like, man, or I was a couple people away, or if I could have stayed a little longer, maybe I would have gotten those two people to go rank advancement or something like that. Maybe some tool comes out for that program you're promoting that will greatly increase your chances, or whatever the case is. You just never really know. So always stay in the game and always give 100%, so you'll never have to wonder. You know what I mean? So. So last but not least, I mean, you've said it all. Awesome interview. I just wanted people to really find out more about you. Where can they get your information, your blog, your Facebook, anything like that, where they can get your latest training and guidance? Absolutely.
Well, my blog is justiceeagan.com. That's JusticeEagan. But my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Master Marketers University. And if you go to www.mastermarketersuniversity.com, you can get my 5-day video training. I don't know if you've seen it. I know a couple of people are starting to look at it. It hasn't been out that long, but there's really, really in-depth, powerful stuff. I don't know that you'll find video marketing training like that for free out there on the web.
So you guys got a ton of value right there, and I mean, I hope you guys, if you guys are serious about your business, make sure you plug in with Justice. Go to mastermarketers.com, mastermarketersuniversity.com, and plug into the training that he has in there. Make sure you subscribe to his list and just just be a part of the community. So Justice, great having you on. Thank you for coming on. And
Josh, thanks for having me, man. I enjoyed it. We'll definitely have to do this again soon. And
Absolutely.
you keep rocking it. I mean, I love what you're doing with these interviews. I've seen a couple of the other ones. It's fantastic. And just happy to be a part of it and happy we could get this information out there to whoever has the fortune of finding it.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys. So I'll see you, Justice, and I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Awesome. Awesome.